Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, our dear viewers from Kuwait and around the globe, and welcome to our special programme where we're shedding light on the key visit of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah to the Sultan of Oman, as part of His Highness's constant efforts to further consolidate the relations with the member states of the Gulf Cooperation Council, while witnessing wider partnership horizons between the State of Kuwait and the Sultan of Oman through the inauguration of the Duqm refinery, which is a joint venture between Kuwait Petroleum International (KPI) and OQ Company from Oman. His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, as were the late wise rulers of the state of Kuwait, has always been keen on bolstering the ties with Gulf countries at all levels. But today we will focus on the relations between the state of Kuwait and the Sultan of Oman, as their deep historic relations have achieved the level of partnership in many fields, mainly in the economic fields. For decades, the Kuwaiti-Omani ties have always been known for deep sense of brotherhood and mutual respect, as shown by the leaderships and peoples of both countries. Stay tuned for more in this report.
The relationship between Oman and Kuwait continues to flourish, driven by historical, cultural and political ties, while their partnership extends beyond the geographical proximity, as they actively cooperate on various fronts, from politics and economics to education and culture, with a commitment to mutual progress and shared prosperity. The relationship of the State of Kuwait with the Sultanate of Oman is rooted in history, with the trade being an essential factor in the emergence of these relations. The two parties were keen on economic exchanges, and their cultural and social proximity helped them in strengthening these relations, under the patronage and leadership of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, and His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq bin Taymur Al Said of the Sultanate of Oman. The two countries currently enjoy a special diplomatic status, based on their effort to reinforce unity among Gulf countries, reduce the regional tensions, and mediate to resolve crises in the Gulf and the Middle East. Regarding the cultural partnership, the late Emir Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah opened on January 2018 the documentary exhibition on the sidelines of the 6th International Conference, Oman's Relations with the Indian Ocean and Gulf Countries, at Sheikh Jaber al-Ahmed Cultural Center, which was organized by the National Documents and Archives Authority to promote the culture of research and knowledge, and highlighted Oman's historical and cultural role. Meanwhile, Omani Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi issued a ministerial decision announcing the Omani-Kuwaiti Friendship Association that was established to strengthen relations between the two countries. In terms of economic cooperation, which resulted in trade and investment exchange and the signing of many agreements led by joint projects in a Duqm economic zone, such as a Duqm refinery, the petrochemical complex, and oil storage in Ras Markaz, with investments reaching $8 billion. On the other hand, the Oman and Kuwaiti held several rounds of discussions to strengthen the bilateral trade and investment relations in the fields of agriculture, livestock, and fisheries. Since decades ago, the Kuwaiti-Omani ties had always been known for its high sense of brotherhood and mutual respect, shown by the leaderships and the people of both countries.
The presence and participation of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, in the inauguration of the Duqm refinery in the Sultanate of Oman. A new era of the Kuwaiti-Omani strategic partnership.
Today we witness the beginning of a new chapter of cooperation and partnership between Kuwait and Oman. as we mark this special event of the inauguration of the milestone project of the Dugum refinery in the presence of both the Kuwaiti and Omani leaderships. On this occasion, we'd like to welcome our special guest for tonight, Mr. Nader Al Abeid, who is an economic consultant known for his active role in this field. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to have you here with us, especially with the achievements that Kuwait and Oman are experiencing. I'd like to ask you, so today His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, was in neighbouring Oman, where he participated in the special ceremony that day of the opening of the Dugum refinery, while marking the first visit to the Sultanate as the Emir of the State of Kuwait. What's the importance of exchanging visits among GCC leaders?
First of all, thank you for your invitation and giving us the opportunity to participate in such important event.
Our pleasure.
Now, we have noticed that His Highness the Emir is keen to visit the GCC country. First of all, to find a common ground between each country, because this will facilitate how to think as GCC bloc internationally. This is very important in terms of business or politics and different fields. So I think His Highness is keen to find or to exchange the views, because each country has a vision.
True.
And there are common areas where all the GCC countries are keen about in terms of diversification for revenues, and most of the countries in the GCC countries are depending on the oil in a way. So now with the new future and industry and the technology and the new restrictions for the international environment, let's say, it's important to coordinate among themselves as a country, and I think His Highness is keen to, this is the second visit after the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I think this is very important. Now, it's good to see that this visit is attached to an economic project where it has different flavor and feeling, because the project is related to oil sector, but this will open up many areas for cooperation in terms of human resources, development, and especially now, if you see the Oman, in terms of location, is the breather for the GCC countries.
It's a gateway.
So I think, as location, strategically. So I think the visit is very important at this stage to find constructive cooperation for the next future. So I think the timing for that is very important. Now, how are we going to see the development of that, or the outcome of the visit? Definitely we'll elaborate more in the other areas of questions.
All right. Mr. Abeid, the diplomatic relations between the State of Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman are deeply rooted, going back decades. How would you describe the ties between both nations throughout the years?
Well, now the relationship definitely goes back to decades. And when we say the relationship, mostly the social relationship is important. And you know, the visits, the entertainment, the visits on the social level, because you know, we had Omanis, they were with us for many years. So you know, there is a special attachment. And let me tell you something, Kuwait has always a special relationship with each country within the GCC, and this is noticed.
Yeah.
So the relationship with Oman has different flavor. Now, Oman has a unique international view in terms of politics, and the same thing is Kuwait. So these, the common features for these countries, I think we need to analyze it in a professional manner. Always we keep saying that, the economic impact or the tie-up, and from economic point of view, definitely will strengthen the relationship from diplomatic point of view. Because if I have the interest, the financial interest, the economic interest, definitely I can reshape my relationship from political point of view. Especially Kuwait. Kuwait has an extremely excellent exposure on the diplomatic way. Now it's about time to tie it up with business, with economic, with education, with training. And what's important, that Kuwait has international exposure on the oil side sector. We have the international companies as part of KBC. This gave the opportunity, or even for the human resources, to get experienced. Now, we can transfer the knowledge of the KBC employees and know-how into this project, which is now Dugum refinery. So we don't look at the relationship only through the project. No, we'll see it in the training side, we'll see it in the education, we'll see it in and even in the industrial side.
Okay.
Because the project in the beginning starts as refinery. Now we see other things as logistics, and this brings additional business. We see the industry and what we call derivatives in the oil sector. So I think the relationship is reshaping with the visit and with the project itself.
So for a future, a more interesting future.
Yeah, and this will be a positive impact in the economic side.
Yes.
Both countries.
For both countries.
Yeah.
True. So as His Highness the Emir was heading a high-ranking delegation to this key visit, how does this visit reflect Kuwait's diplomacy with the other Gulf countries?
Well, this is an answer for the question,
right.
Because you see now the delegation, usually the delegation, now we see government entities, and each entity as a government has its own vision. So collectively, when the delegation is diversified, this will increase the level of cooperation on the educational side, in higher education, and the commercial side in terms of commerce, even the law. And let me bring back something. The private sector in Kuwait, for the last 20 years, they've been targeting the Omani market in terms of financial, banking, investment, foreign investment. It was there. But unfortunately, at that time, the regulation of the Omani market was a bit restricted. Now, with the new laws, with the new regulation, definitely this will encourage the private sector to go along with the government for new business. This is something I think the private sector, the Kuwaiti companies and semi-government, definitely they will reconsider that, because the Omani market is very attractive.
So more opportunities basically for everyone.
Yes.
All right. Well, we've got, let me just, I think we have a report coming up. That's right. So marking the first state visit to the Sultan of Oman, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah was warmly received by Oman's Royal Camel Corps as a customary gesture to welcome a visiting head of state, while the traditional 21-gun salute sounded to usher in the visit. Well, that was clearly obvious through the exchange of the historical visits by the leaderships of both countries. So here are more details in this report.
Relations between the brotherly nations of Oman and Kuwait went beyond several decades, as the Kuwaiti and Omani people had been intertwined in familial and commercial relations for centuries. Meanwhile, the exchange of visits between the leaders of both countries had always played a key role in bolstering the bilateral ties. Going back to 1991, when the late Emir Sheikh Jaber al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah made an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman, where he met the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said and expressed Kuwait's gratitude to the Sultanate for its stances in support of the Kuwaiti rights during the ordeal of the 1990 invasion. In the same year, Sultan Qaboos visited Kuwait to participate in the 12th Gulf Summit of the Gulf Cooperation Council, while his visit to Kuwait was repeated again in 2002 and 2005 to coordinate on common positions. In 2009, the late Emir Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah awarded Sultan Qaboos the Mubarak the Great necklace during his visit to Kuwait, while Sultan Qaboos awarded His Highness the late Emir the Oman Civil Medal. The Sultanate of Oman's interest in a permanent partnership with Kuwait remained, with Sultan Qaboos visiting Kuwait in 2010 and 2012, during which the two countries formed a joint economic committee to discuss cooperation files and sign the necessary agreements. Then, the late Emir Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah visited the Sultanate in 2017, and the two countries also witnessed mutual visits by members of parliaments throughout the years to strengthen popular ties between both sides. The last visit of His Highness the late Emir was in 2020 to offer condolences on the death of Sultan Qaboos. For his part, His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq visited Kuwait in 2020 to offer his condolences on the passing away of the late Emir Sheikh Sabah al-Ahmed, and visited Kuwait again in 2023 to offer condolences over the death of the late Emir Sheikh Nawaf al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah.
The presence and participation of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, may Allah protect and bless him, in the inauguration of the Duqm refinery in the Sultanate of Oman. A new era of the Kuwaiti-Omani strategic partnership.
In a recorded telephone call, political analyst Dr. Khalid Al-Janfawi has a say regarding today's key events.
His Highness's visit to the Sultanate of Oman is very important because in addition to being one other development of the historical relationship between the Sultanate of Oman and Kuwait, it also aims to strengthen the ties between these two brotherly nations. And of course the visit will include a summit between the two governments, the State of Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman, in a summit. And also it will inaugurate the mega venture or mega project of Duqm refinery and petrochemical complex. And this economic cooperation between these two very important GCC countries symbolizes one of the greatest outcomes of the economic partnership and strategic cooperation between the State of Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman. And of course, in the coming years, we will also witness further developments of this economic development, economic, if you like, partnership between the state of Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman, and ultimately this project or this economic cooperation between these two countries will also improve the economies of the Gulf region and will make, if you like, the Dugum refinery or Dugum special zone one of the most important global economic hubs of the region. One other important aspect of the economic cooperation between Kuwait and Oman is that the Dugum Special Economic Zone is today one of the most important and renowned economic destinations. It has actually great potential, not just because of its important location, but because of the political stability that Oman provides. In addition to this, Dugum also has really great natural resources. The topography of the Dugum region is very promising, and thus, in addition to, investments in oil production and refining crude oil, it also represents another, if you like, tourist investment in the region. So both countries will ultimately benefit from this very promising economic cooperation.
قالوها أهلنا الأولين طيبة العالم تلاقيها بعمان بالشدايد لو تطالع على اليمين تلقى أمجد العمان بكل مكان يا لا يا لا 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 يا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا لا الزين في عمان يا لا يا لا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا الزين في عمان يا محبتنا لكم يا الطيبين حبكم مزروع فينا من زمان يحفظك يا عمان رب العالمين يا عساكم دايم بخير وامان يا لا يا لا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا الزين في عمان يا لا يا لا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا يا لا الزين في عمان وانتو يا اهل عمان معدنكم ذهب صيتكم نسنس على الدنيا وهب وانتو يا اهل عمان معدنكم ذهب صيتكم نسنس على الدنيا وهب واسمكم في قلوب هالشعب انكتب والله شاهد ايش كثر نعشق عمان واسمكم في قلوب هالشعب انكتب والله شاهد ايش كثر نعشق عمان وعامرة بأهلك ودوم انت بعمان ونور شمسك منه الكون استنار.
Now let's welcome our guest from the Omani capital of Muscat, Professor Abdullah Babood, who is the chair of the State of Qatar for Islamic Area Studies at Waseda University in Japan and a senior non-resident scholar at Carnegie Middle East Center. Good evening, Professor, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening to you.
Professor, can you tell me, what does this visit signify regarding the relationship between the state of Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman?
Well, to start with, the relationship goes back decades, if not much longer than that. It's a very important strategic relationship. It's a brotherly relationship between two GCC Gulf Cooperation Council states, Oman and Kuwait, have enjoyed very special relations because both countries share common grounds, and that is the respect of sovereignty, respect of international law, avoiding conflicts, reverting to dialogue and cooperation. So the relationship has very strong basis, and it is not just between the leadership, but also between the people in Kuwait and Oman. They together they've had very long history, long interaction, trade, etc. This visit basically augments this relationship, and it is an important visit and a very significant visit for His Highness the Emir of Kuwait, Sheikh Mash'al, to Muscat and to meet His Majesty Sultan Haytham. And it's also important because both leaders integrated the opening of a joint venture between the two countries, between two companies, of course, in Kuwait, KBC, Kuwait Petroleum Company, and Oman Oil, to integrate this petrochemical industry, which is the largest joint venture between any two countries in the Gulf states. So it is, in that sense, extremely significant because it helps Oman to diversify its economy and also increase its refining capacity, but it also helps Kuwait and particularly KBC to diversify as well its capacity, and it gives it an outlet to the Indian Ocean and to Asia and Africa, which is much closer to it. So it is a very, very important country, and as you can see from the celebration, from the state visit and the high level of reception, basically it explains the significance of this relationship and this visit.
Sir, can you tell me what are the hopes and expectations for the future of the partnership among Gulf countries?
Well, the GCC, or the Gulf Cooperation Council, was built on the idea of integration, cooperation, and of course, economic cooperation comes at the very beginning of this relationship. There has been a number of agreements that have been signed by member states through the mechanism of the GCC. Amongst them, of course, the common market, but before that, the custom union and the free trade area, and so on. And there are other agreements that are being discussed that helps the region to integrate more and to cooperate more. So this actually builds on that. Obviously, one would want to see more GCC-wide cooperation, not just bilaterally, but also regionally. But this is this particular visit and this particular agreement. I'm talking here about the petrochemical unit that was integrated in Oman. It actually resembles this kind of cooperation. So member states are cooperating at one level, but also there are bilaterally, but there are also other cooperation. And the Gulf Cooperation Council, through its regulatory body, regulatory rules, makes easy this kind of relationship to develop. It's very important because the region is facing numerous challenges, economic, political, social, etc. And the region generally is in turmoil, as we witnessed in the news. But the Gulf Cooperation Council continues to prosper, continues to cooperate, continues to support themselves to develop, but also try to bring in peace and prosperity to their countries and to the wider region. So it's extremely important that this cooperation continues at a much faster pace because, the region has the potential to develop further and to diversify from hydrocarbon to more sustainable economy. And through these kind of cooperation and integration of Gulf Cooperation Council economies, we can see that it will spill over to other countries in the region, which also will bring in peace and prosperity to the region. So from that perspective, it is extremely important that the Gulf states continue to cooperate and also continue to make a model for the future of the rest of the Middle East.
Time to join us today. We appreciate it. Well, that was our guest, Professor Abdullah Barboud. He is the chair of the State of Qatar for Islamic Area Studies at Waseda University in Japan and a senior non-resident scholar at Carnegie Middle East Center. Please stay tuned for more after this short break.
The presence and participation of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmad al-Jabir al-Subah. May Allah protect and bless him. In the inauguration of the Duqm refinery in the Sultanate of Oman. A new era of the Kuwaiti-Omani strategic partnership.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our special program about the visit of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmad al-Jabir al-Subah to the Sultan of Oman, during which His Highness held talks with His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and met with several senior officials. We're still here with our special guest, Consultant Nader Abed, to talk about this occasion and more. Well, sir, the State of Kuwait and the Sultan of Oman are committed to working together to achieve peace, stability and prosperity in the region and throughout the world. How would you describe the role of both countries as peace mediators in the region?
Well, we have noticed, that Kuwait and the Sultanate of Oman are active in the international market as one of their objectives to be the player in different occasions. Now, definitely, we are as the Middle East. There are many challenges, political challenges, and definitely for our benefits to approach and to contain and to encourage others for peace. Now, this is very important. Why is that? Because if there is any instability on the political side, definitely we'll be losing a lot of opportunity in terms of business. And let me share something with you here. You know that the GCC economy collectively considered number 12 worldwide.
Really?
That means it is very important for all the GCC leaders to have this in mind, because having the stability and peace around us definitely will encourage business to us. The GCC market is becoming now an important hub for business, and we are seeing investment portfolio coming to the region in different direction, and each country is focusing on different, let's say, sector.
All right.
As UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait. These are the diversification. It is very attractive for foreign investment to be here. That's why part of our responsibility here within the GCC to encourage the peace process in different direction, and we've been noticing the GCC members are very active in terms of that. So I think this is an important vision for the GCC, and it is a challenge. But I think the GCC as a player within the international market, I think they are capable to manage that. Especially now, we have markets to consider. We have the Eastern countries like China, India, Japan. These are very important.
True.
And the same thing the other side, on the Western side, where Europe and America and Latin America and Canada. If you notice that the GCC countries always are balanced in their relationship.
That's right.
So definitely it's becoming now part of their objectives to have this as part of their diplomatic achievement down the road.
Mr. Abed, we can witness the remarkable development of the Kuwaiti-Omani relations in recent years as they went beyond the political aspect to include many bilateral cooperations, such as in culture, arts and education. So what are the main sides of cooperation between the two countries?
Well, from professional point of view and economic point of view,
Yes.
the level of cooperation is satisfactory, but still we need more to achieve. Why is that? Oman, in terms of location, strategic location, and the diversification, I think it's important to encourage the volume of cooperation for, let's say, food security.
Sure.
Oman is well known location-wise on the seaside, okay, because one day I was heading one of the specialized food company,
All right.
and when I used to visit Oman, I have noticed that, you know, the diversification in terms of agriculture and food security became like the hub to support even the GCC, not only Kuwait. So
Interesting.
it is important for the country, instead of going all the way for food security, I think we should encourage the business within the GCC. There are some agreements signed in mid of 90s within the GCC countries to encourage the volume of economic business and to complement each other. Now we are talking about almost 20 or 30
About 30
years.
years, yeah.
Still, we need to have it measured and improved. Why is that? Because we are losing opportunities if we don't maximize the benefit of that. Now, I think we should encourage, as specialists, we should encourage that. Now we have some, let's say, scientific research, like KISR is one of the government bodies. I think with the research, having the cooperation in terms of education, culture, business, we need to develop that. Why is that? Because I think some of the agriculture achievement within Oman is very advanced. Why don't we learn that? Especially now we are keen to encourage the food security environment and the landscape and greenery. So this kind of collaboration definitely will boost up the business and the cooperation within the two countries. My opinion, I think we should go higher than that objectives, because a lot to be done for both economy. So I think we should encourage to go in different direction in terms of business, and I still believe that Ad-Dugum will be one of the players as a project to diversify the collaboration and cooperation within the two countries.
So it's still like one of the first, it's one of the first large projects.
Yeah, and now when we talk about the project itself, it is important. Now, when you construct a project with sizable funding, 50-50 belongs to the two countries.
True.
But 50-50 is being funded. Funded, I mean, as capital, but the other 50 is going into the international market. You know, from business point of view, this will encourage the country rating. Country rating is very important when you go to the market and achieve that volume of business. I think this is an advantage for the economy.
Well, that's wonderful. Just a bit, we'll just take a short break and we'll be right back.
Sheikh Mish'al al-Ahmad al-Jabir al-Subah. May Allah protect and bless him. In the inauguration of the Duqm refinery in the Sultanate of Oman. A new era of the Kuwaiti-Omani strategic partnership.
In a recorded telephone call, the researcher in journalism, media and communication affairs, Dr. Rasha Al-Damin, affirmed the importance of further cooperation between Kuwait and Oman.
Holding visits is of great importance among the leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, and this importance lies on the role of these visits in increasing the rapprochement between the leaders and these countries and their peoples, and strengthen the fraternal ties and bonds of fraternal relations between the sisterly countries. They also contribute to achieving the ambition of the countries and their peoples, and unifying visions and Gulf rank towards various issues. Increased coordinations and cooperation between them were achieved, and solutions were found for many files of common importance. Moreover, it contributes to establishing similar systems in various economic, financial, commercial, social, educational, health, media, fencing, administrative, transportations, and customs fields. There is no doubt that this project, Duqm refinery, will bring financial returns to the two countries that will strengthen the economy in both countries and push the wheel of development forward. In addition, it will work to train human cadres professionally to keep pace with the technological capabilities used in the Duqm refinery, things that achieve sustainable development in both countries and develop a human capital. The Kuwaiti-Omani relations are deep and well established, and the aspects of cooperation between the two countries are numerous, especially in the economic and commercial field. The two countries formed a joint economic committee to discuss cooperation files and sign the necessary agreements. Security, coordination, and cooperation are also taking place, and the two countries are cooperating in the exchange of experience, information, and joint training, currently in the oil field, as well as in the cultural, educational, and health fields of cooperation. In June 2021, the Sultanate and State of Kuwait held a new round of discussions to strengthen trade and investment relations between the two countries in the field of cooperation, agriculture, livestock, and fish wealth, organized by the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The discussion reviewed investment opportunities in the agriculture, livestock, and fish fields available to the side. On the social level, the Omani Kuwaiti Friendship Association was launched to strengthen relations between the two countries and crown a long history of a positive rapprochement.
Our discussion, as we have more questions to shed light on tonight. I would like to ask you, sir, how do you see the future of the Gulf economy, and how would the Duqm refinery project, among many huge joint projects, open the doors for the Gulf region to become an enormous power in the global market?
Well, it is important now. We see the future of the oil market is changing.
All right.
And we see now the cars, electrical cars, and we see different changes within the future businesses. I think it's important to see that we need to visualize where are we going as GCC.
Okay.
China is one of the main players for the future, and they still depend on the oil beside India and Japan. So I think we are going toward the east more than that, especially that China and Iran are keen for the refined industries within the oil sector.
All right.
So let me add something. Now, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine created a market for us, for the international market. So I think the timing is for our advantage as well, as GCC. So by bringing the investment with the diversification and using the hub for the Duqm, it's important. Because in the beginning, if you see the life of the project, it used to be only refinery. Now it's attached to, let's say, the logistics services and the tanks and the attached industries within the Duqm area. So if you see the changes within the life of the project since construction up to this moment, created a new market for us.
So it's evolving.
It's evolving, and it came for our advantage. So we should take advantage of that, and we need to restructure our vision to attach it with our diplomatic achievement. If you see now, since let's see who's our potential market for us, India and China. And if you see His Highness is keen to open with China as well. Okay, it is important now to maximize the benefit within the GCC. And we have noticed that the last 18 months, His Highness attended regional and international summit within the GCC as a bloc.
Yes.
This is how we cement the ground within the GCC to become a main player in terms of negotiation, in terms of regulation, in terms of matching the requirement in the international in terms of environment or restrictions. I think the GCC countries are keen to maintain it up to the international standard. So I think the GCC are becoming more important in terms of, and we need to maximize the benefit of the location of Duqm, by the way, because you know the access
It is.
And who's the feeder for that? 50% is coming from Azor refinery, which is very important, like a breather, or at least it's a strategic thinking to maximize the benefit of Azor refinery with what's called Dugum refinery. So these kind of things are the decision makers within the two countries are smart to maximize the benefit of that.
I've got one more question for you before we leave. Can you tell us what's your message to both the Kuwaiti and Omani nations amid all the diplomatic efforts to achieve the one unity?
Well, in terms of as we mentioned earlier, you know, let's have the objective of tying up from economic point of view to maximize the benefit of the diplomatic achievement. Why is that? Because always when you tie up for the two countries in terms of benefits, definitely this will open up new doors for now. As GCC, we see now the objectives in terms of education and diversified education and small businesses. All the countries are maximizing benefit of that sector. Kuwait is a bit behind. So with this achievement, definitely will boost up all the achievement with all the levels. So it is important to make sure that the market or the international market is seeing us equal in different levels, especially that now we don't want to see competition. The competition is healthy sometimes because it creates market. And I think the GCC markets are becoming, or the GCC countries are creating markets in different directions. Now we see Qatar with the sport activities and entertainment. We see Saudi Arabia as doing the same thing. Now Oman is, UAE as well. Kuwait is trying, and Bahrain. So you see all of us with one objective. Definitely the competition sometimes it's healthy to create new ideas for the benefit of the GCC and the people within the GCC.
Mr. Nader Al-Bid, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show with us and explaining and enlightening us about everything that's been going on, and especially with this wonderful project of the Dugum refinery. Thank you very, very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Well, this concludes our programme that casts light on the special visit of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Mish'al Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah to the Sultanate of Oman, and to hold key talks with the Omani leadership, among other significant activities including the inauguration of the Dugum refinery, the milestone oil venture between Kuwait and Oman. We'd also like to extend our gratitude to our guest in the studio, economic consultant Mr. Nader Al-Bid. Thank you very much for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have to say. But thank you so much for joining us, and please stay tuned for more interesting interviews coming to you on KTV2. Have a wonderful evening.